All right, how's everybody doing today? Hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I'm gonna bug you for just a second again on your well-deserved rest. I just want to go over the egg timer thing. So this thing here, we call the hourglass an egg timer, right? The egg, we're in an egg, so to speak, getting ready to be birthed. Okay, and so how this kind of works is, okay, so this is the egg timer. Now we're on the flat plane of existence inside the earth, right? I've gone over all this. So even though this thing is going to do a complete flip when the sands run out, right? With it's just a resetting of the egg timer because it's only going to move 90 degrees. With each running out of the egg timer, it shifts 90 degrees. So when you look at the egg timer, this would be like your, I got it upside down. Here's the sand down here. I've already flipped it over. But it's continually running, and then all the sand runs out and it flips over, and then it continually runs, and all the sand goes away and it flips. Okay, so this thing is going to flip 4 times to get the complete 360 here. Okay, and we don't recognize any of it because, you know, we're on that fixed plane, like I said, like a gyroscope here. Okay, so on the hands of a clock, this would be the continually running one. This would be like your second hand. A big 180 degree turn, so that's the inner motion of the clock, the inner hand, and the outer hand. Because the bigger hand is only doing that quarter degree turn. So you got one that's continually running, one makes just a little turn, one makes a bigger turn. Okay, there's your hands on the clock. So the other thing that showed up in the news, which is awesome, is this right here. So about the same time I was discussing, you know, the birth of the twins, the two realities. We have, you know, for the first time, astronomers have captured the birth of a new solar system. Okay, so that fits right into the timeline I'm watching. The other thing that I find really amazing is all these people talking about, you know, when they quote the Bible, they're going into their bunkers, blah, 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 blah. And I said before, the bunkers are nothing new. They've always been here. There are big bunkers like NORAD, right? Probably Area 51 is a big bunker. There's lots of other ones. White Sands, New Mexico. Anybody who knows anything about the military, White Sands, right? That's all sandy. That's a big bunker, was a big bunker. A lot of people died there. A lot of people living in Florida, a lot of sand in Florida. That whole peninsula is made of sand, right? Just saying. But anyhow, so let's go back to the God of this world, Satan, right? So loved the world that he basically sacrificed his only son. So he canceled all his Memorial Day weekend trips to go golfing, including his only son's birthday, so he could stay in the White House, his bunker. Okay? So that part's playing out on the script too. It just is what it is, but I saw that and I thought, wow. And I didn't see it in time to put it on my other video. It was already published when I saw that, and wasn't sure if I was even going to do another video, but I realized after doing the hourglass one, I didn't get into this thing like I planned either. So, you know, Mars up here, Venus down here. Like I said, when the timer flips, you know, you got Venus on top, Mars on the bottom. We still stay just right here. And all it has to do with just the world we live in. So, okay, so like, let's just do Donald Trump running against Hillary Clinton. Okay, everyone thought Hillary was going to win because there probably was a timeline when we flipped over and Venus was on top or bottom, however that works, the female part of it, wherever she was stationed that created our reality, there was probably a time when Hillary was in office. There was probably also a time that maybe whoever the last one that ran, the other female that ran against him, right? So like I said, we didn't come from a time where we rode around as a bunch of camel jockeys and had to rub sticks together. I mean, everything that's here, nothing new under the sun. We've relived the same cycle over and over and over and over. Okay, until the killing stops, right? Which doesn't look like it, but that's why there's been the pause. We're not technically. I mean, yeah, we're at war, but again, it's kind of like World War II. And even in that one, okay, so that 7-year war, and in the Bible it talks about the mid-tribulation saints, right? So that war kicked off in basically 38. They say it was 39, but that's when they made it official. But again, if you look at what Germany was doing with their blitzkrieg and stuff prior to it being official, he was already plowing through countrysides, right? So that was the 7-year tribulation from 38 to 45. Okay, the end of World War II is when we got here. The mid-trib saints happened right about here, midway through the overall war, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor and got the sleeping giant into the war. Okay, so that's just kind of how the Bible plays out. It's the script. It's just not what they teach you, and they're not going to teach it to you. And I discussed, the omission of truth being a lie, but they kind of have to, because the deal is, if everybody knew what was going on here, like I said, first of all, they'd all be killing each other, and that wouldn't get us anywhere. And you wouldn't be remember, our eyes, our hearts, our mind is connected to Source, the universe, God, if you will. So he knows what's on your heart. They will say they know what's on your heart. They know what's going in your eyes. But you have to live that life to wish for those things, right? You have to, like it says, we were given the knowledge of good and evil, right? Both equations, just like your government, two sides of the same coin. We are two sides of the same coin here. Micro and the macro, as above, so below. However, whatever verbiage you want to use, right? So it had to happen this way for us to live a life and want more from it, to build our circles going into that new world. Remember, I discussed, how we build the new worlds with all our little thought circles, and where they all overlap and people are looking for all the same things occur here, and then you have your individual items that potentially are going to occur within your realm, within that new world, okay? But that's enough madness for today. Like I said, I saw those couple news stories I wanted to get on here. And touch base real quick, especially involving this one here and this one here where we're sacrificed, because that's the beginning of the Jesus story. Remember I said there was, a dome given to Elijah, a dome given to Noah, and a dome given to Jesus. Actually, they go this way, smaller and smaller, because when I talked about the homunculus, if you look that up, that's your Satan seed, and with every passing generation, it gets smaller and smaller. That's just how it goes. So the creation of the Jesus dome, I think, just came to an end. Along with everything, like I said, I'm just watching all this come to a nice little head, aren't we? So again, when does it could still be tonight. It could be tomorrow. I'm looking more between the passing of Sunday to Monday. Like Sunday night, we're in that fourth watch. So Monday being the 26th, so that's where you get your 6th day, because our 6th day is going to start at midnight, right? But a day doesn't start until the sun rises. So technically we're in that 6th day, but we may not see it. I don't know, or we may have to wait till Monday night. I don't know. I'm looking hard at the 25th myself, just based on the hopscotch board and all this other stuff I'm seeing. So get out, enjoy your weekend, love everybody. And hopefully, after all this is done, we will be catching each other on the flip side. I love you all. Bye-bye.